outside and I look at the sky. You know, Jews pray to God in the sky. And I look at the sky and I said, okay, let's make a deal. I will promise you something and I will keep the promise. Just help me live through this hell. And I said, what can I promise, God? I'm not going to promise that I'll go to temple every Saturday to pray, because I might not keep the promise. But I see outside it's warm, so I know it's Easter for Christians, right? And it's Passover for the Jews at about that time. And I said, it's probably close to Passover, and we have this big family dinner, Passover Seder. In this dinner, during that dinner, I will remember you, God, that you saved my life, and I'll say a prayer. And that day would be the most important day of the year for me. Please save me. And I went back to the barrack, and the next morning, I'm thirsty because I have a temperature. I crawl out from the diseased barrack, and I get outside, and I look at the tower. There was always a German officer in the tower with a rifle, and I don't see anybody in the tower. And I look around, run to the next tower, it's empty. I get frantic. I start screaming and running to the front gate, and I got to the barbed wire fence to witness the first British entering the camp. And in several languages that announced, we are the British soldiers, be calm, help is on the way, be calm, because people went crazy. This is the photo that I showed you. And I am running to the front gate. A few girls ran with me, and we're waiting for all the trucks showing up and all the British arriving. The British set up tents, and they announce, if you're sick, come to a tent. There is a doctor there waiting for you. So I go to the tent with my arm. He cuts it open, and the pus comes out. He puts some powder on it. He said, come back the next day. In the meantime, they took over the headquarters of the Germans, because all the Germans went away. They caught some of them, and they had to bury the dead. And so they put us in the place in the clean quarters of the Germans, put the healthy people there. So I'm there. I came the next day with my arm, and he said, your swelling is going up to your shoulder. I have to amputate your arm to save your life. And I said, no. And I start walking away, and that doctor has tears in his eyes. He calls me back. He gets on the phone. He said, I have one shot left. I'll give it to you. He got permission to give it to me. That was, you guessing, a penicillin shot, right? This is 1945. They just discovered penicillin. They just had very little of it. You could just imagine. I talk to young students, and I tell them, I said, you get sick, you make an appointment, go to the doctor. Did that ever cross your mind he wouldn't have the proper medication? Never. We take so much for granted. My arm here, I think you'll see it, is it's scarred up, but my arm is okay. And I went back to camp. And I went back to another section of the camp where the people who are sick are recovering.